Let's get some analysis and bring in our Dominic Valitis, who joins us from Geneva. Dominic, lots of messages sent to neighboring countries, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, and as well as Turkey as well. What are some of the highlights that you picked up?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That's the first time we've officially heard from Bashar Jaafari since the HNC announced that it was going to postpone its participation to these talks in Geneva. The first thing that leapt out at me was that he said that he considered these talks to be ongoing, despite the HNC temporarily pulling out of the talks. And then after that, we got into some very strong, some pretty harsh language from Jaafari. He said that the postponement yesterday, the announcement of the postponement, there was this big press conference at their hotel yesterday, was an act of absurd theatre, he called it. And he said that if the HNC were to decide to leave these talks permanently, it wouldn't matter because they are a mix of extremists and terrorists. So some very harsh, some very strong language from Bashar al-Jaafari here today.
Dominic, but also some strong and harsh language directed to the Saudi royal family, as well as the Turkish president. He said that Turkey's president was not attending the peace talks in Geneva, but rather imposing their, quote, mercenaries, and that they were intentionally breaking the truce and directing groups in there to intensify the attacks. Did you find this, how do you find this to actually have a representative in Geneva to use strong and harsh language directed to country leaders like this?
Yeah, as I say, it is interesting. I think it's an indication, really, of where we're at with these talks here in Geneva. It's a tactic that Bashar Jaafari has used before. What I think he's trying to do is talk about anything other than the peace talks, which is why they're here. So as those subjects that you mentioned about the Turkish intelligence, about the Saudi royal family, to me that is just simply a smokescreen, really, just to avoid talking about the peace talks here, specifically as well about the escalation in violence over the last few days in Syria as well. To me, it's just a stalling tactic.
Okay. You've also been speaking to the opposition. What do they have to say?
Yeah, that's right. Earlier on today, we were at the hotel where the HNC has been staying, and indeed where over the last 24 hours or so, an increasing number of the delegates have been packing their bags and heading home.